All right, everybody. Whoops. Let me get this back down. Hey, there we are. Welcome back to Office Hours. Been a while. Alrighty. Let's see what we got. Jump right in and start answering questions. There was a question below the last post. Let me see if I can just find that real quick. There's my live stream. Hold on. Let me see. Where's my channel? Posts. All right. We already had a question from member Curtis McLeod. Slow blues on solo piano. Let's do a deep dive. All right. We'll get started with that. Let me know, guys, if you can hear me okay. Hey, Woody. Let me know if you can hear me. You guys hear the piano okay? You remember that little light up keyboard I used to use all the time? It's just not working. There's such a long delay. I'm gonna just uninstall that app and reinstall it. I went to use it today, and it's like almost a second between when I push the note and when it lights up, and I just think that's not going to be helpful for anybody. So if you can't see something clearly, or you want me to repeat some notes, try to catch me right away, and I'll break it down slower. All right, so let me know if you can hear me, though, because I don't want to get too far into this and then say, oh, no one could hear me. I think everything looks like it's coming through okay in terms of the levels. All right, so slow blues, just a quick, everyone asks, not everyone, but a lot of people ask me for this. I need to make like a how to play slow blues, like just small like user's manual or something, kind of like my Boogie book, but just for slow blues. I think that would probably be good because people ask me all the time, how do we play slow blues? Hey, Mark. All right, good. Thanks, Woody. Okay, so obviously there's no like standard way to play slow blues, but I'll give you some pointers to at least kind of some things that first come to mind. So let's, as usual, we'll demonstrate everything in the key of C because most people are familiar with that key, but you can transpose these things to any other key that you like. So starting with an intro to a slow blues, a common way to start, you'll hear slow blues start on the 5. So they'll do the 5, they'll start with the last 4 bars of the 12-bar blues. So they'll go 5, 4, 1, and then a turnaround. Usually there is a turnaround in slow blues, whereas boogie woogie, it's almost too fast. You don't really hear turnarounds much in boogie unless you're like walking it. Anyway, so here we go. So let's say we're in C. I'm going to start with a C lick and then go to the 5. Okay, so you see what I did? That's lick 1. And this is a nice, you'll hear that so much. So I have my hand positioned in the C triad shape with the thumb doubling the top note. It's a perfectly easy way to play lick 1 and a common way, aside from the thumb on C, put the thumb on the 5th. So you're already on the 5th, right? You're on the G octaves. Step down in half steps. Now you're on G7. Fill in the rest of it with the chord. And the left hand, you'll hear me do these things unconsciously. Just rolling. So I'm rolling. This is a technique I talk about in my book, in both books. Don't worry about the rolling notes so much as it's like you're blurring the sound. This is the main, your final note is the main thing that you want to orient towards what beat or what note you're looking for. So 2, 3, 4, and 1. So all I'm doing is I'm just making a real quick brum, brum, like not even, I end up playing these notes. So C, D, D sharp, E, F. But I've never thought about that aside from right now when I spelled them out for you. It's just, to me, it's like you're just curling. I'm curling my fingers in kind of making a fist into the thumb. So this is a cool. Okay, then. So what did I do over F? I like, if I'm going, I like to either do another lick in C over the F. Okay, so like that's, oh, you can't see that. So that's like lick number 6 in my boogie book, right? Stepping up to that 5, the G. Come down the C blues scale, minor blues scale. Okay, so there we've got already the makings of, I think, this is how I play it. So it's a combo of like Memphis Slim, Otis Spann, Mercy D. Walton, all the, Chicago guys, maybe even Big Maceo. Licks that I've taken from them, like this is kind of has settled into the way I like to do a C lick into the G chord. So 2, 3, 4, 2 and 3, 4. Now F. Or the other thing I'll do is when you get to the F, I'll play a that's more Otis Spann. You get the F7. I love that sound. So here we go again. 2. So okay. So here. This is a good point. I just realized myself. If you're doing like a 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, wait, hold on. There's 2 ways to start this. I haven't quite put this into my conscious mind yet, but hold on a second. Hold on. One of them, you stay on G for the full bar. So you're like. See, so right there, right there, I played the full 4 beats on G, but the other way, you just start 3, 4. So like the 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that way better almost. That is a good way to start it. Like if you're with a band of experienced players, right, and you're like, let's do a slow blues in C, I'll start it out. You start with something like, you don't even have to count it off because this is the tempo. 4, 1, 2. Whoops. Okay, so that's the way I like to start it. I like to go play first couple beats with just the right hand and then come 3, 4, but then you got to go right to F, and that's the way I like to do it. You can, if you count in the band, say from the 5, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so in that way, you will, Valerie, hey, in that way you will be able to play the full bar on G. So let's see what kind of licks I would use in that case. 3, 4, 2. I probably wouldn't do many licks at all. 2. I would tend to. I would tend to just do a chord, actually, for G. 2. If you want to do something, do a G lick. Like, do one of your licks, but in G. And then when you get to F, I like to play that F7. You can use lick number 5. So then you're going to go into a turnaround. There are cooler. I like actually playing slow blues in A, D, or E, which I'll show you how to do that a little bit, maybe at the end. Not all of these licks will transfer, but you get different licks and shapes there. And that's more like what you'll hear Otis Spann do, like his stuff, like. We'll touch on that a little bit later. So anyway, so you got start on the 5, 4. This is a really deep dive. This is a deep dive. So I'm showing you all the little things. If you start the song right, it's gonna play itself, I feel like. Set up the mood with that intro. For me in slow blues, I like this kind of diminished sound that you get from taking lick 3. Like that. Yeah, that's right, Woody. I took off the bandages. I was telling him yesterday I got into some poison sumac. I guess that's poison ivy or poison sumac. I think it was sumac because I found a bush in the backyard while I was weeding, and for the last week, my fingers, these 2 fingers were so swollen with like blisters and things that I couldn't even make a fist. So I had like these bandages on so they wouldn't rub up against each other. And it started to spread everywhere. It was awful. Thankfully, the kids didn't get into it. But I had to take the whole week off of work. So I couldn't go into work because I couldn't use my hands. Luckily, I was still able to like do some finger exercise on piano. But, okay, so here we go. Slow blues. So I like, as I was saying, for lick number 3, that would be the normal way. But if you take that second position coming down, okay, so you got the diminished chord right there. If you keep an A and C in the middle, I like that sort of, that flat fifth. I don't know. I just like the way it kind of moans in the slow blues. So that's a place where in Boogie I wouldn't use this so much, but in slow blues I would. Okay, so for a turnaround, you can just do a straight up. like just walking up. And there's a way that you can do like I just did, go sharp 5 with the 7 chord to G7, or you can do that. But you'll hear a lot of to go. And I like this augmented chord, the G augmented 7. That's a great way to play it if you can reach it. 7th on the bottom, the root on top, 3rd and raised 5th in the middle. So, or just a straight up G7 chord. Remember the G is in the left hand. You can also just kind of pulse on the 8th notes on the 5. Aside from walking up, so if you walk up, there's different things you can do in the right hand, like right there. The basic idea is the right hand's going to go from, you're going to keep the C on top. It's kind of a Robert Johnson sound. C on top, 5th below it, and the 5th walks down in half steps. Now, if you use this walking up with the left hand, it's going to clash a little if you do this. It all works out in the end, but it's a little hairy in there. The other way to walk the bass is to go down from the root down to the 5. So usually I teach it to play the first 2 notes, the C, down here with your 5th finger, and then go up to the 7th with the thumb. So, and then step down. That way you stay in one octave, and you don't have to go. It's also a little dramatic. This way you kind of stay in one place. And in that, if you do that, then this works out perfectly because you're harmonizing with that on the way down. So that's usually what I will do for a slow blues, or I'll use that lick number 3 shape. Or maybe kind of give it a little Dr. John time. So like there's that lick 3 with the flatted 3rd on top. Same hand position. Oops. It's not a well planned out thing. I just move my fingers around and what kind of works. And I think you get there just by playing with it. Give yourself 500 times to do this and see if you settle in on a way you like. There's no one way. There's a lot of variation. So right there, probably that. I skipped this altogether. I went, and then my thumb, instead of going down a half step, went down a whole step. Okay, so now I skipped past, I went down another whole step. I ended up playing an A flat major triad. And then you resolve the way you would have anyway to a C chord over G. Hey, Calvin, welcome. Yeah, you caught one. finally. Okay, so there's just some things. That's kind of the chordal, I want to say, basis for that. It's kind of it's based on these chords collapsing. That's a turnaround, right? Start with a C7, take the top 3 notes down in half steps, and then you get to the triad. All right, but at the same time, you can play a turnaround with the left hand walking up or walking down, and you can just do a lick in the right hand. That's also really cool. So okay, so what I did there was just something that came to mind. You can use whatever licks. Let's try some different ones. All right, so there, I just gave you a few examples. Whatever, it's got to be some C lick, right? You can do a lick in C while you're playing the turnaround, walking the turnaround with the left hand. That's probably sounds the most common thing you'll hear players do in a band, or even solo maybe. That or this kind of, or yeah. So anyway. There we go. We got through the first 4 bars of a slow blues in like 20 minutes. All right, but I feel like that's really important. And then every time the turnaround comes up, do the same idea: a lick in the right hand, or some one of these sort of harmonizing agents. All right, so let's play a little bit. You'll see the kinds of licks that I do. And then I can break down a few things, and I'll just tell you kind of what I'm thinking while I go through it. So here we go from the beginning. All right, so there, first 4 bars. First thing I thought of was, what bass line do I want to play? So usually, I'm doing this on the spot, but you probably would already have an idea of what bass line you want to play, right? So in that case, I chose this. It's kind of a free form. So I know I want to go 1, maybe 2, and 3, 4. So that's kind of like the foundation. And then I'll maybe play all of those notes, maybe not, maybe put a couple more in there. But you may notice I was doing that rolling technique I just talked about. So I'll roll to the 3rd. And then you got to put some. A slow blues is good because it gives you a lot of space. You can put in these little things like a little transition. A half step above or below your target note. That is something I recommend practicing if you have not already. 2, 3, 4, and 1. overuse it. Overuse it. Because then I feel like that's the way to really kind of figure out where it belongs, is you just put it everywhere. And there was, for example, a time when I learned montunos, which now I'd be very reticent to play. That sort of thing. I used to play in some salsa bands, like we're talking 20 years ago. And when I first learned, I thought it was the coolest thing. So I put it in like every song. And I was playing with this rock band, and the bass player was like the leader, and he was kind of an old timer that had played with Miles Davis and everybody. And I remember him going like, maybe a little bit too much Latino in there. Because I was putting this on like every rock song we were playing. I'd figure out how to go. He's like, it sounds cool, but it might be a little bit too much. So when you learn a new technique, overuse it for sure. As you're practicing, so you get to just see where it goes. So at least these 2, 3, 4, and 1. So that's the and. When you start to get the that starts to get natural. Another one I like to use is the and 1. So like the last 2 notes of a triplet. So 1, 2, and 3, 4. 2 and 3, 4. 2 and 3, 4. So you can either go down to it or up. Practice both. Not to say you're going to use it all the time, but you know what I mean? You're going to hear me do it, and at least some of you guys are going to say, what are you doing? That's what I'm doing. Okay. So let's see. The other thing I wanted to mention that I thought of when I played through that first time was the chord changes. So slow blues gives you a lot of space. You will commonly hear more chord changes happen in a slow blues than a typical like medium tempo, or especially boogie woogie. The faster you get, the less chords you're going to play through, because especially if you're doing this sort of left hand, you're not going to be changing any more than you really absolutely need to. So here's how I play a slow blues. I'm going to lead you through the changes. Okay, so starting with the intro. 2, 3. One, 4. It's called a fast 4. Then you go back to the 1, 5, 1. 1, 7. There's a lot of changes. Like you're not going to have. Granted, you listen to Muddy Waters. They're just doing 1, 4, 5. Pretty standard. They'll do a fast 4, but especially when you're not singing, you want to make it. I want to make it a little more interesting. And I hear all these other songs. To me, this is if I were to play a slow blues by myself, this is kind of what I would do if I was just making something up on the spot. So I got 1 bar of 1. You go to the fast 4. That's the 1. Then back to the 1. Quick 5. Back to the 1. And then you want to emphasize the 7th. So first 2 beats are 1, 2, And then I'm going to usually emphasize that 7th on the last 2 beats of bar number 4. Another thing I like to throw in there is right before, remember I went with the left hand? So I'm going to put a chord to that. I love this chord. It's my favorite chord. I've said this in other videos. It's my favorite transition chord. It's a C7 with that. If you got to be able to reach this though. It's a 7th on the bottom, root on the top, got the 3 and the 5 in the middle, and I'm going to augment that 5. So I'm going to raise it to G sharp, and that goes on top of that F sharp because that's my little transition note, remember? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So I resolve that usually. It's a C7 augmented over its tritone substitution. I resolve it to a F9 like that. Again, your hands have to be... Hey, Eugenio. Welcome back. Your hands have to be able to reach this. It's an octave with the flat 3, 5, 6. So that makes it a C minor 6, basically. Or in this case, F9. Okay, so from the top. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Fast forward. Back to the 1. Quick 5. There's a F7. Back to the quick 5. I'm hearing these licks in A that I want to do. I'm like, I've never played that in C. I'm trying to figure it out. All right, so that's kind of what I got for slow blues. Hopefully that'll help. There's, if you've got a band, you can do that fun 2-handed tremolo. I love doing that. I don't usually play slow blues in C. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this. This is a sound I like. When you get to the 5, play the minor blues scale of the 5 chord. Sounds awesome. Over the dominant 7, right? The chord itself, like if you're playing with a band, they don't have to do anything different. They're still playing G7, but you're playing G minor blues scale. And then when you go to 4, you switch to the C minor blues scale. Okay, so let's see. So from the 5. And this is I like doing this, as you can probably tell from the turnaround. I like to come back like that. Okay, there's all the stuff we talked about. All right, I want to just play a little bit in A because that's a great slow blues key. Or you know what? Let's do D. D has the G7 in it. And whenever you have a G7, you can do all these kind of cheap licks like where you're just coming down a specific chord shape. Just down the white notes. You don't have to think. You can do that 2-finger gliss that I posted about. So if you're playing in D, you've got the G7 is the 4 chord. Sorry, I'm running around the scales a little more than usual. Just because I haven't been able to play very much recently, so it like feels good. So part of it is just me doing that for no other reason other than the selfish reason to move my fingers. But you totally. All right, so let's play in D because when you get to G, you can do the cheap licks, and I like that. So. See the fast 5 there? So let's see. What did I do there? I went, instead of going 5-4, this was another thing. Hey, Dave. I went. All right, so that's the substitute for the 5. That's me going to what I would normally go to the 5. So 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's an E minor 7, right? I am doing a 2-5 now. So E minor 7, A, and then I went B flat 7, A, 7. So I kind of stepped out from Otis Spann. Now I put this like modern. I feel like that's a modern chord change, probably from the 70s. I want to say like Thrill Is Gone, B.B. King. Like that's kind of like where I started hearing it at least. Maybe it's older, but to go to that sharp 5. Like, I don't think Muddy Waters would ever do that. But he would go, or Charles Brown would. They do the 2-5 again. So, oh, you know what? No, Charles Brown does this. Maybe it is older. That is my favorite Otis Spann turnaround. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to teach it just so I can, because this is a good slow blues, how to play slow blues reference session that we're doing right now. So I think if, in the future, if people say, do you have any videos about how to play slow blues? I'm just going to send them here. But I know I've covered this other place, but I want everything to be in one place. So this is an Otis Spann turnaround that is worth learning if you don't know it already. Okay. And that was shown to me by Mark Braun, by Mr. B, back when I was 13. He showed me this. And I never understood, until this day, I've never really analyzed what is going on there and why this is cool. So consequently, I don't play it in any other key other than D, E, and A. But I just know it. My fingers know these notes. So this is one of those things I just memorized a long time ago and never thought about it and haven't really made sense of it in any other keys. So let's see. Start with that. You can't slide to the third in D, so you're going to false slide with your thumb on F and quickly pull up to the second finger on F sharp. Next two notes are D, B, C, A F, A flat F, G, E, F, D, F sharp D. It's so beautiful. I love this sound so much. I don't know why I've never figured. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's too sacred for me to analyze. It's got so much soul when you. I just love it. So I also will sometimes let my fingers in the middle just press down whatever notes that are in D that are nearby. Like there, I've got an A. There I've got F sharp A. And there I've got F sharp in the middle. I've got C and D in the middle. C and D in the middle again. Let's see. I don't really have anything in the middle there. It gets a little hairy in there, but it's like it works so. There's a different rhythm on that, but I use the same notes. Do you see that? So I started later. That's why I had to play them faster. And I did them as triplets. Triplet, triplet. Now I had to add extra ones. I had to add one. And there's what we talk about. You do the fifth going down in half steps. That becomes the 7 chord of that A. So the A7. So I didn't mean fifth. I mean you take the root of the chord, move it down in half steps to the 7th. That walk down to the 2. Another thing you can do in slow blues is take some time, get real quiet with the left hand, go down low, get dirty. This is another technique I like. All right, so you've got this is a great lick too. Okay, so you've got A, C, F sharp, right? That's a D7 because you got the D in the left hand. When you go to the 4, or in the second bar, you go to the fast 4. It also works even if you don't go to the fast 4. You'll hear guitar players do this a lot. Take this whole chord, move it down a half step. So now you basically playing those turnaround chords we talked about at the beginning. You got D7, now D diminished. And then go back to the D7. Okay. You can wobble it, like shake it. I also will put the, just as another anchor point, I'll put the D down. So I've got these 2 notes in the middle. That minor scale. So I used the A minor blues scale. Because I didn't do the 2/5 that time. All right, that's pretty much all I got. For ending chords, a nice way is, that you can't go wrong with a 9 chord. So I've got E flat 9. Everything goes down a half step to D9. I like to do that sort of thing, just going up. I think that's a Ray Charles thing I got from Ray Charles. The 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. All right. Slow blues. There you go. That was a deep dive. All right, 48 minutes. Let's see what else we got here. Curtis, I may only be answering your question today. Also, take us through your licks real quick too. I feel like I covered a lot of the licks during that, but just to review, I've got boiled down the style to it's an oversimplification, but in a way not really. There's 8 main licks you're going to hear in blues. Starting with that one, that's lick number 1. Lots of variations. So what I mean by lick 1 is anything that uses this shape. That's all lick 1. Okay, that's if you YouTube search Arthur Miliazza lick 1, you'll find my videos on it. Got it in my Boogie Woogie book published by Hal Leonard. All these licks are in there. That's where they come from. You can find it on schoolofboogie.com too if you're not familiar with these licks. I've got them broken down into lessons there for free. All right, lick 2, the pine top lick. Anything with this shape. Even this. Same thing. And even this, if you invert, you get that if you invert the notes. that's lick 2. Lick 3. Anything with this shape. If you invert this, you get thirds. Still lick 3. You can combine lick 3 with lick 1. So that's lick 3. Lick 4, it goes off the C6 shape. So anything that uses this shape or these notes, I consider the same lick archetype. All this is lick 4 in my mind. Lick 5 is more of a technique. I mean, it's not more of a technique, but it's also a piano technique. I'm sliding 4 notes with 3 fingers. But anything that uses this little shape in here is lick 5 in my mind. So I'm keeping the same hand shape. Even harmonizing the top. Combine lick 1 with lick 5. I'm speeding up. So, all right, so there's lick 5. Lick 6. And then I like to put, that's how you come down. Same notes you go up. Keep the octave on, or keep the C on top. Combine lick 6 with lick 1. See, and then I come down lick 1. There's 5 again. All right, lick 7 is the major blues scale. So you'll see lick 4 and lick 5 are, and not really lick 6, but lick 4 and lick 5 are derived from notes from lick number 7. Okay, that's lick 7. Lick 8, saved the most dangerous for last. That's the minor blues scale. It's the easiest one to overuse. That's why I teach it last. Because as a piano player, we've got so many other options. If you overuse the blues scale, it gets real old real quick. And always, when you're remember this, kids. Whoops, move the camera. Always, when you use the minor blues scale, you got to throw in the major third. on the 1, the 4, and the 5 sometimes. Because otherwise, if you took out the band or your accompaniment and you're just playing notes of the minor blues scale, you don't know what chord you're on. You can't hear it. You're not playing the changes, really. For me, it sounds so satisfying. Put that major third in there. Play a lick. Get that major third. Major third. Major third. Oops. Okay. That's my one word of advice and word of caution. Don't just play the minor blues scale. It's so boring. You got to throw in major thirds every now and then, all right? It just keeps us with you. Especially, I mean, guitar players, I want to say that they get away with playing lots of minor blues scale because they're also bending through to the major third. They're not just playing minor blues scale unless it's a minor song. But a lot of it, like you will hear them bending slightly into that major third, if not completely into it. And that's what keeps it fresh. Okay. Let's see. So there you go. There. Let's see if we got any other questions. I can do a couple more questions, but that was really good. I'm glad we went through all that stuff because I think that's been on a lot of people's minds. Let's see. You were saying, what can you learn about the theory for a boogie? Same applies to not. I hope I'm answering your question. I'm not really clear what you want to know, but if you all the theory, the 1, 4, 5, most boogies are 12-bar blues. That's basically the only theory you got to know. Otherwise, the boogie is being used as a style applied to a different song, like Swanee River or something, Sheik of Araby. And those, in that case, you're playing a bass line fitting with the chord changes of the song that you're playing. But theory-wise, I mean, I kind of answered that when I was going through the licks too. Hopefully that helped. Really don't hear much minor blues scale on boogie stuff, but the licks, yes. This is a boogie in a minor key, right? When I do so that, like when I'm doing my little solo section, I will use the minor blues scale. Notice that was lick 3 in C. But because I'm in A minor, it works because it's the relative minor. That's a minor song. Okay, so other than that though, it's the same. It's the same theory stuff. You use the turnaround the same way. If you play a turnaround, hopefully that kind of answers it. I'm sorry if I didn't. I'm not answering your question. Let's see. Hey Bruce, welcome. Oh, Woody, for the I did a show here. There were 25,000. They clocked it at over 25,000 people, or they counted in our local kind of central park here, and that was June 21st. It's called the Summer Pops. It's like the whole town comes out. Everyone puts their blankets out the night before. It's really cute. It's great. So I got to play at it this year. I was the opening act right before the headliner, which is the chorus of Westerly. And they brought in a Broadway star to sing with them, and they had all these. They have this Philharmonic Orchestra play with them. It's amazing. It's top notch. They're world class. And so I was allowed to do about 40 minutes, and I did 4 songs. I think a little shorter than 40 minutes, but I did. Let's see what I did. I did Rockin' Pneumonia. I did Johnny Be Good. I did Bob Malone's Chinese Algebra. I did that one. He taught it to me while he was here because I was like, "How do you show me how to do?" So I stole it from him. So I did that. That was fun. And then I did Freebird. Yeah, I did actual Freebird. It was cool. It was cool. I had so I was using my keyboard, and I layered an organ sound underneath it that I could bring in and out with a volume pedal. So I could bring in the Hammond organ, for accents. It was cool. And I did a whole jam section at the end. It was perfect weather, perfect crowd. It was great. Wasn't nervous at all, actually, when I got up there. I thought, because that's the biggest crowd I've ever played it to by myself. So when I planned on being a little nervous, because I definitely haven't been in front of a crowd that even near that size for a long time, but felt totally comfortable up there. Like as soon as I got up on stage, it was like everything just went and it evaporated, and I felt totally comfortable. So it was great. It was great to serve my town like that, to contribute some music to it. All right, thank you for asking. Yeah, we got, let's see. Philippe wants to know, you brought the book. It's a real gold mine. Thank you. Yeah, if there was any gold to be had in this kind of music, we would get it. Will I ever be able to play like you, like your fingers? Boy, that depends on a lot of stuff. If you are 10 years old and you put a lot of time into it, and you've still got some growing to do, and you're going to develop these muscles and flexibility in your fingers, and you become obsessed with figuring out songs and learning things and practicing and playing gigs and all this, then yes, absolutely. If depending on where you are, and I would say also age has because our bodies change over time, in terms of like arthritis and building muscle memory quickly, and also recovering if you have an injury or even recovering from fatigue. All those things would play a factor, how fast you'll progress or like how, so absolutely. You could, if you want to play like me, I would not say it's impossible. It would be largely affected by factors like I mentioned. But I didn't always play like this either. And this, maybe some people will listen to this and be like, that's not that good. I always frequently get comments on videos I post and be like, oh, this is poor playing or whatever. So, not everyone likes it. I'm flattered that you do. But I didn't always play like I do now. This is the most current way that I play. I used to play with, believe it or not, a lot more notes. I used to be a lot more bangy, and I used to be I just would make different choices and things. But I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm mostly going back to the way I played in the beginning, which was trying to be simpler stuff. But then, like, I'll let some of the more complicated or flashy things kind of slip through the cracks. And that's kind of the way I like to sound now. I like the sound of me trying to restrain myself, but being unable to all the time. So yeah, but as long as you enjoy it, that's the main thing. Cause I always enjoyed it. You know that I never thought that I wanted to quit, because I wasn't going to sound like somebody. And there are plenty of people that, sometimes I'll hear recordings that I've heard, that I used to listen to a lot in my early teens. I remember thinking, man, I wish I could play like that one day, and now I'll hear it and be like, man, I remember when I used to think that, and now I can play like that. But I always enjoyed it, and it always helped to have people to be striving to be like. And so that's kind of, yeah. So I think you can enjoy it. If you enjoy it, that's good enough. All right, so let's see. Mark, could you show some different boogie woogie endings? You could use some new ones. Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. I'll show you my standard ending. So for the ending, that's the way that I'll play it with the left hand. That's like ending number 1 for boogie. Oh, I gotta take something out of the oven. Be right back. I'm cooking too. Okay. So that's my go-to kind of dumb default ending. I'll play a lick in the right hand, usually ending with in the left hand. Okay. Thing about endings, you got to get the rhythm right. So 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is held longer. The second note. 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. Because you get there early, so you got to hold it till you catch up to where you should have been had you not gotten there early. 3, 4, 1, 2. It's like showing up for the bus early, but the bus arrives on time. Okay. So what I did in the right hand was. So. Oops. I don't know what I do on the top there, but these are the moving notes. And yes, you do want your thumb on G. So like I jumped there. 1, and these come in together. I'd end with a 6 chord probably. No, 7. Maybe 9. My favorite boogie ending, which I have a video about, so I'm not really going to break it down that much, but I say learn the best old-timey ending. It sounds like that. You can YouTube that. That's up there. Let's see. Trying to think of how these songs end. Some of them have unique endings that like I don't use in any other song, like St. Louis Blues. Let's see, like Boogie Woogie Stomp. And you know what? I don't know what that is actually. I go. Yeah. Hold on. Maybe that. Yeah, these are deeply embedded in muscle memory. So let me see. So again with the left hand. This one does not have the 1 and 2, 3. This one has quarter notes. It sounds different when you play it fast. And even that is probably, that's a poor imitation. See, got poor playing, just like people like to comment. That's a poor imitation of Albert Hammond's ending, but it's close. Honky Tonk Train just slows down. Boy, hold on. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to say that's most of the endings that I play. A lot of times, if it's a boogie, I'm with a band or just kind of a made up thing or anything in the boogie style, I will use that first one I showed, which is the that's like the go-to for boogie. All right, let's see. Valerie, no, I did not get video. The guy who I was gonna take the video, he had a wedding he had to do, and I got some videos from cell phones, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Like I had a year to get it together and get a video and everything, and it just didn't work out. It just did not work out. I got a lot of great pictures, but yeah, did not get video, which sucks. I gotta play it again. Next time I play it, I'll get the video. I know. I'm sorry. I'll Yeah, if I had something good, I would have posted it by now. Okay, all right. I'll try to put some phone videos. I mean, they're like excerpts. I don't know why I can't get one. My wife is busy with trying to manage the kids while I'm on stage, right? So she's like kind of she can't afford to do a whole video because someone will kill themselves if she's not watching them. And so and then yeah, I got no excuse. I got no excuse. I think I even mentioned from the stage, send me your videos, and no one did. So you can only do what you can do. I'm sorry. I'll see what I got and I'll post it. I'll just post it for you guys. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I think that's probably good. That was a really good session, guys. I feel like we covered some really important stuff that I can keep sending people to in the future. So I'm gonna make this video public actually, so I can just next time people ask for slow blues, I'm gonna just say watch this office hours. I talk about it for like 45 minutes. But yeah, it's really good to see you guys here. Thanks for thanks for staying channel members. I really appreciate it. I'm always sorry that in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'll just do this every week. And it just has not ever worked out that way since I graduated school. So I'm hoping that, you know, I'm going to try to get at least one more tutorial done today. I've got my mom is watching the kids right now, so that's good. My wife's out of town, so yeah, it's tough to juggle everything, but I'm trying. Thank you guys for not forgetting about me. Really appreciate that, and it was great to see you guys here. Always feels like old times when we get to do this again. So, thank you. All right, take care, everybody. Woody, yeah. I'll have to do a private encore performance of my set list. It'd be amazing. All right, thank you guys.